Hey improvisers, Suzi here with a tiny PSA before we get started. It's the season of gift giving, and we have gift subscriptions available at yesalso.supercast.com. For just $8, you can gift a beloved improviser in your life a full month of full-blown access to all of the bonus content we've ever created, or if you really want to impress them, just $80 will get them a year-long subscription. Either way, it's a nice, thoughtful gift for the improvisers in your life, and you know what? Come to think of it, this is not a PSA. This is a straight-up commercial. So say no to drugs, and definitely don't litter, and smoking kills. There we go. Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett, and today you're in for a real treat because my guest is not one, but two bona fide geniuses, Alex Fox and Rachel Lewis. I know Alex and Rachel as successful TV writers and showrunners. They are two of the three brains behind Electric Bloom, the new show on Disney+. But Alex and Rachel started out as improvisers. They met doing improv in Chicago, and we deep dive here about what that path was for them, how they went from doing I.O. and Second City and Annoyance to pitching and developing original shows. I loved nerding out about sitcom theory and structure with these two, and most especially where good improv scenes overlap with good sitcom scenes. In part 2, there is a ton of really great practical career advice, and they really drill down into how to take your comedic instincts and your improv skills and funnel those into an actual structured script. Part 2 is available to subscribers only, but you too can be a subscriber by going to yesalso.supercast.com. And make sure you check out Electric Bloom streaming on Disney+. You really can see the improv DNA that informs the writing of that show. But enough about that show. Let's go to this show. Here's Alex Fox and Rachel Lewis. Hi.
Hi.
Alex Fox, Rachel Lewis, as I live and breathe.
We're here.
You're here. Can you believe it? You did it. You're here, but also like we could say you're here, like referring to your life path. What a cool here you've both landed in.
Very nice.
You know what I mean?
Start crying.
Do you ever think about that? Because we'll start at the beginning, but you two met doing improv in Chicago, and now you are successful showrunners, show creators,
oh my gosh,
writers. It's bananas to think about that you can go from like doing zip zop zop in a classroom to like being Hollywood badasses.
Oh my gosh.
Making your living doing comedy,
oh
you
my
know.
Gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh.
It doesn't the way you phrase it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was like, it makes us
doesn't feel that way.
I feel like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what's happening?
But when you put it the way you said it, I was like, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds like we're doing great.
I mean, you truly have a job that is the envy of and the goal of many people who are, doing what we're doing. Let's rewind the clock. Oh. So we bring you to Chicago circa 2000s?
2003, 4.
Great.
Yes. I grew up in Florida. I went to school in Boston. And
She's going further back.
I'm going further back.
Yeah, let's do that.
Further back. And then when I graduated, I was like, I'm going to go audition for Second City. And if I get in, I'm going to move to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And so I flew there and I auditioned and I got into the
conservatory program. Yeah.
And then I moved there, but I didn't know anybody. Rachel?
Similar. Grew up in Bozeman, Montana. I'm wearing my Bozeman sweatshirt today. Yeah. Went to school in Madison, Wisconsin.
And you're wearing your Madison underwear.
Yes, my Madison underwear.
I have an Emerson bra on.
This is great.
But actually, both my parents grew up in Chicago, so we vacationed there when I was younger, and I saw Second City main stage when I was, I don't know, like 12. And I remember being like, that's what I want to do. So
isn't it head spinning?
It really was.
Yeah.
So like I went to college, did theater in college, and then moved to Chicago and was like, I got to go where I saw these people blow my mind at like 12 years old.
Yeah. I got to get to blowing minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting. Yeah. I also auditioned, got into the conservatory, did stuff at formerly Improv Olympic, then became I.O., the Annoyance Theater. And we just both were there at the same time doing the same path.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Suzi, but so many people graduate college and then go to Chicago to do what we did. Mm-hmm. And I always say it was like grad school because everybody's there to play.
Yeah.
Like you are, a lot of people have jobs that they're just like whatever, day jobs. And then at night you are with like-minded people who want to create something and you're playing. The end game is to create. There isn't this like pressure. I mean, maybe some people felt it, but it's such a joyous, like beautiful, romantic. I always think of that time with such joy.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's just what you're doing.
Yeah.
It isn't like, but this will lead to this and this. It's like you're just there to like figure the thing out.
That's it. And the figuring it out demands doing it in front of an audience with other people. So as opposed to like, you know, mastering an instrument that's such a lonely pursuit because you're locked away in your room learning how to make your violin not squeak. Like this is social and it's on stage and filled with adrenaline and lights and
And it was so cool because it felt like everybody, you're also like, you just meet all these people that are naturally not your friends. I always talk to people about how it's hard to make friends as an adult, but it's like the improv scene. It was just like, oh my gosh, now I just have like 20 new friends automatically who are in my class, and then I'll take this class. Now I have another 20 friends, and it was just like you would just go. I would see shows every night.
Yeah,
I would be on teams where you'd be rehearsing from. You'd have an 8 to 10 rehearsal, then maybe you'd have a 10 to midnight, and then maybe you try and do a show on this night. And it was just like there was so much happening, and it was just. Yeah, it was magical.
It is so crazy too, because now that I'm a woman who's maybe a little older than I was at that time,
but we're still not
maybe.
that old.
We're maybe you're maybe a little older.
Yeah,
than
just
you
like a tiny bit. But I'm like, we did shows at midnight.
Yeah,
like if somebody
crazy.
was like, Alex, you have to go anywhere at midnight, I'd be like, I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah,
I can't do that
unless my house is on fire.
Yeah. Or exactly. But so we were doing, we didn't know each other yet. You kind of, find your people as you go through, much like college. And then we were each on a double bill for the Second City ETC.
It was like the Unhinged series, I think it was called.
I don't know that.
It was like Tuesday or Wednesday in the ETC stage. There'd be 2 different shows, a double bill. That you'd like, I don't know, I don't even remember how you got into it. But we were in different shows on the same night. And we were backstage in the green room, and we both had a really nice meet cute magical moment.
We did. I remember seeing Rachel, and at the time,
I do not know this story.
It was very fun. At the time, Rachel's outfits were all
it's true.
Black, white, and red.
Yes.
That's all she wore was black, white, and red. Very like Audrey
forward.
Hepburn, mime forward. Hepburn.
I had headbands. I had a belt. It was always like black and white with like an accent of red. I was very like a classic lady.
Yeah,
she was a classic. And she still is.
And one never knows when they will need to become a gondolier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one always has to be at the ready.
And I also remember being like, look at that put together. Like I was wearing like wrestling shoes and like
what are wrestling shoes?
I like sneaker. I would always I still love sneakers, but like there are shoes that like wrestlers wear that I don't know what was happening.
So I saw her and I was like, she looks fun. I was like, she's so fun. Like, look at her fun. Your hair was even a little more wild.
My hair was even wild. It was like I've tamed it.
She was kind of like
she's clearly a professional wrestler,
and like
a wrestler and a gondolier.
She's very physical. My husband always says when Alex performs, he has an acting background, and he always says that she leads with her sex, which is like she's very like hip thrust forward.
Very hip
she's just
forward.
like very in her body,
very in my body.
She's probably warming up sex forward, and like
very Scorpio of me.
And I saw her from. We each had a moment where we saw each other across the green room, and I was like, "Who is this?"
And I was like, and who is this?
And we met, and we
were friends.
We were like, we should probably be friends now. And we're like, sure.
Which is also something so amazing when you're younger, where you meet someone, you're like, you're my friend now. And you're like, great, now we're friends. Whereas like, as you get older, we all have, you have jobs, you have lives, people have kids, whatever. And you're like, we're going to be friends. And you're like, I'll see you in 9 months. Like in LA, you're like, I have friends I see once a year.
Totally.
But in your 20s, we're like, we're friends. And then we
I'll see you all the time.
I'll see you all the time.
Yeah.
We also then did end up in an annoyance class together.
Yes. Yeah.
And we immediately like jumped into performing together. And we made our big love trip to the Del Close Marathon in
this
New
is a
York
very
together.
funny
And that
story.
really solidified it because we had just become friends. We just decided to start, or we weren't even performing. We were each in different groups performing at the Del Close Marathon in New York. Do you know? Yeah, of course.
Of course.
I mean, do the people know?
Yes,
Like,
common topic on this pod.
yes.
Yeah.
So we went.
What year was this?
probably 2004, 2005. We
or
went a few
five.
times. That was probably 2004.
Those are early DCMs.
Yes, back in the
Very
day.
smelly down there.
Yeah. What do you remember seeing any bit shows or being a part of any bit shows? This is a topic I love. Those like late night shows at DCM where it's like 3 a.m. and someone's doing like dinosaur prov or whatever.
Well, I remember I was in like 4, as you are, you're like in a bunch of different groups.
Yeah.
I remember having a show. One of our slots was like 1 a.m. I
Sure.
was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm going to do in this dungeon hole that's very wet. I just remember the floor being wet.
Wet?
Yeah, like there was like this. It was like very
Grocery store juice.
humid and beer. I just always was like, this
I'm
carpet
picturing
is
like
wet.
Adventure Island or Wet and Wild, where it's like just wet everywhere.
wet everywhere.
Rachel was at Wet and Wild.
I was like, it's not conducive for my look. But yeah, so we were both going for different shows.
Yeah.
And Alex was like, oh, you want to like fly together and just like stay with me? And I was like, of course.
My aunt and uncle had a place on the Upper East Side in New York that they'd had since like the 60s. And
Rent controlled at like
Yes.
$200 a month.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had, at the time, they were renting out 2 of the other rooms in this 3-bedroom, huge apartment on the Upper East Side, rent controlled. And I was like, you can stay with me. We have a place to stay. It's free. My aunt and uncle aren't there. And so we stayed there, but because they were renting out the 2 other rooms and we were staying in the living room, they had like
It was basically a room with 2 twin beds on opposite sides of the room that faced each other.
Oh my God.
And
like magical, just waiting for us, just like for a magical
and
moment.
also like we didn't know each other that well. So like on the plane ride, we remembered like just asking each other a lot of questions, almost
Yeah.
like we were dating, like about each other. Like, so where'd you like grew up? Like we literally had just become friends.
Yes.
We learned that we were very into talking about our dads.
Yes.
Our entertaining fathers. My dad's name is Ed.
My dad's name is John. And so remember that piece when I tell you this piece. So we're staying at my aunt and uncle's. At the time, this is not the case anymore, but at the time I'm a very good sleeper, always been a good sleeper, but I could sleep till like 10 in the morning, which I can't do anymore, but back in the day in my 20s. So we're in these 2 beds facing each other, like Willy Wonka's grandparents. And then
I was very excited to just be up and about because I'd gone to New York as a child, but I'd never been there like on my own as an adult to explore the city. So I was like ready to go.
was ready to go.
I was up like looking at my map, trying to remember all the places I needed to hit. And Alex was still sleeping. So
I was like, I've been here.
I didn't want to be rude, but I was like, and wake her up. But I was also like, when are we going? Like almost like a puppy. I'm like really excited.
Yeah, she gets excited. We
Yes.
love it. So I finally wake up at like 10 and I look at her and she looks at me
Because our beds are facing each other.
And she goes, John? And I go, Edward? And then she throws the covers back. She's fully dressed with her shoes on and makeup and hair, but didn't want to be rude. So she laid in bed.
Yeah. And I just go,
Psycho.
oh, good, you're up.
She goes, oh, good, you're awake, and jumps out of bed. And mind you, I, in the morning, take like an hour before I speak.
Yeah.
Like I am like a slow moving train in the morning. I stare out the window. I read a cookbook. I get like real weird.
I love the morning.
And
I love to get up and go.
No, I'm just like, how slowly can this Chemex drip this coffee? I just stare and I don't speak. So she's like, you're up. And she like and she jumped up and I was like, oh, and she's like, I'm ready. I studied my map. I know where we're going. And I was like, this chick's crazy. She's my friend.
There and there you are.
And there we are.
Yeah. Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
The chemistry of your friendship sounds like it was like there from the beginning. Was the chemistry of your improv together there from the beginning? Do you feel like
That's a good question. I think so.
Like what's the overlap of that? And do you feel like you were being delighted on stage by each other in a way that was helping your friendship?
Yeah. Well,
I think so, yeah.
For me, I was like, we ended up first performing together in a 4-person all-girl group called Chuties, which was the two of us plus Megan Johns,
And Carrie Barrett.
And Carrie Barrett.
Big
And
fan.
like, I loved that group because, again, we were all like really into just going for it.
Yes.
Being like physical and no judgment. It was, I feel like, I mean, I performed on Herald Teens. I had people that I really enjoyed playing with, but specifically with this 4-women powerhouse group of women, I just thought we just had so much fun.
So much fun.
And I was just delighted and also just completely taking risks I wouldn't do with other groups.
And I do want to say, like, sadly enough, like at that time, all female groups were very rare.
Yes.
And you were probably, you know, on teams that were predominantly like white bros, like that, or at least that's how it was, like, as I was coming through there.
Yeah.
So what a freedom then to just be like, you know, on this team where you're taking big risks. You're allowed to play the big, unusual, loud characters.
Yes.
Like, you're not relegated to being like the straight man in every scene or the supporting role or whatever. Yeah.
We could play men, we could play women, we could play young, old. We could also, I remember we were, I think, aliens.
There's shows that
Sex-forward aliens.
Yes, sex. I was very sex forward.
I know what show you're talking about.
Yes,
where
with
we
my
played-
tentacles.
Yes.
It was the 4 of us
It was
at
the Donnie Skybox.
and I still remember.
I remember that show too.
Like almost the entire show.
Weird.
Because it was, we
Magical.
were all like aliens. I don't know. But it was so like tickled. So fun. And I also remember the 4 of us backstage beforehand, just like laughing. And it is those moments where I'm like, you're on, you know, it's like you're on stage, you don't know what you're going to be doing. And then you're like, I've never had this much fun in my life. And we're all doing this. We've somehow made this thing work.
Yeah.
And we're 4 very different people. And so I do think for us, we always enjoyed performing together.
The trust fall of it. And the like, you know what? I'm all in.
Yeah.
If you're all in, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all in. Yeah, we have tentacles. Yeah, we're aliens. Yeah, cool. I'm all in. Yeah.
It's just so fun.
I love that. I love that you remember. There are singular, like, I can't remember improv scenes I did yesterday, but then singular shows or scenes from years ago ring in my ears.
Yes.
Do you guys remember seeing formative shows or formative players during that time? Like shows that blew your mind or moves that people made where you were like, I didn't know you could do that. I want to hear what those were.
I remember seeing at I.O. TJ and Dave and Jack McBrayer was playing with them. And they were doing a bit where TJ and Jack were kids and Dave was like their dad, and they were having a picnic in the park. And TJ and Jack were being bananas, but with not crazy to be crazy. You know, like, of course, like the best thing I've ever seen. And I remember still thinking, it's still to this day, I'm like, I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard at a show. Like the entire watching, and also when you're younger and you're new to improv, watching these 2 adult men and then this other man who's able to be straight while it's like they were all playing so perfectly and like beautifully and each sticking to the thing that they started. I just remember being like, I didn't know that this was a possibility in life to play that hard. And they were all playing so hard. And like to see also the ability of like one person to not jump onto what the other 2 people and hold their thing and the other 2 people holding their thing. It was just like, I still think about that show. It was crazy. Yeah.
Do you have a standout?
It's not like a standout, but I always looked at the women. Like, I just like going back, I'm just thinking always of the women on stage because I was like blown away by, I mean, I loved watching Laurel Kopic play.
She's magnetic.
She was my first Herald coach too.
Cute.
And like I always thought that she was so physical and wild and fun. And like I remember back in the day seeing Mary Beth Monroe.
Oh my
Phenomenal.
God. Yes,
Naima
incredible.
Funk.
Yeah.
Like it was just always
Susan
these, like,
Messing.
Yes. Like
Phenomenal.
Like
Yes.
I was just, and God, now I'm forgetting a few of the names like in the first few Second City reviews that I saw. But like it was, I don't know. I just always loved when I saw fearless women specifically because I don't know. It was more rare. And then it also just made me tickle that I loved when people, like what you're saying, play hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and I think it influenced how we started playing because I was like, they're playing hard, I'm gonna play hard, just so committed.
Yeah. It's the Gilda Radner flopping around on the floor and like running into her wall and you know that the fearless flop, the big physical stuff, the loud, not shying away from commitment. Yeah.
Yes.
Talk to me about transitioning from improv to a writing career. Like, how do you go from being like, oh, we're in Chuties, we're having a blast, we love playing with each other, we kind of share a comedy brain, to let's write scripts? Was that kind of the next?
It was more like gradual than that.
Yeah, like for us, we were in Chicago, and then I was like, I'm gonna move to LA, and try to figure out how to do a career with this insanely specific and beautiful knowledge that I have from improv and sketch writing. Like, what can that be? Career-wise, so
who wants to pay me?
Who wants to pay
Ding
me?
dong.
That was
good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
And like I had just booked a couple of commercials in Chicago, and I was like, oh, there's like more money to be had here.
Yeah, there's
like,
a corporate well,
and like I know people are moving to LA or New York, and I wasn't gonna move, and then randomly a few things, winter and a breakup, and like I had auditioned for Boom Chicago and got pretty far, and I was like,
what year was that?
Well, it was right before I moved here. So
2007
or early 2008. Like
I went back and did a stint in 2007. So if you had gotten it, we might have crossed paths there for like 6 months or so.
Like I was excited that I like got to another level there. Yeah. And like that sort of was like, I'm either going to get this or move to LA. Like she was already moving. I had no plans to move. We were just friends and performers, and then I randomly I was like, no, I'm moving, and I moved 2 months before Alex moved. I was really like, she was moving in May, and like in January I was like, fuck this, I'm out.
She was still getting dressed and putting her shoes on for the day. Sloth.
So yeah, I'm just like, oh, you're there? I'll see you. So then we moved here, and we both started performing together, just the two of us at IO
with the John and Eddie show.
Oh,
wow.
And we quickly learned that improv is such an incredible skill to have for your life, but we would have like meetings or try to get agents and stuff, and Chicago was not as known. Like in Chicago, you know what everybody, and you know who's on main stage and who's, and here it was like, wait, what did you do? So then we were like, oh no.
Yeah. Here it's not just who are you, but it's like, what's IO?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Which was jarring and
very jarring.
And it was a kind of, for me, it was a hard entry to, a hard landing into LA, but we just were like, we were doing our shows at IO. We each, started also doing our own thing, but when we would do a show, sometimes we would like get a meeting
from the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or like, I remember also IO had like a speed dating pitch day for a woman at Cartoon Network. Yeah. And like, we started to be like, people were like, oh, you have shows to pitch? And we were just like, yeah, we got shows.
Yeah, we have so many shows.
Like, sure. Like, what's our show?
Yeah, like
what do we want to call it?
And like we kind of saw the trajectory of things, so we shot a web series. We're like, okay, so we're not gonna just do like this stage thing. We should like shoot a web series and like put it in a festival or something. And that was sort of, so we did the John and Eddie show web series.
I think too, we both, coming here, again, like Rachel was saying, it is hard to be like, oh my gosh, it's a different beast. It's a business, and it's very different. And I think we both somehow, some way, were like, we need to treat us like a business. Like, how do we take what we know, this knowledge that we've gotten and this training we've gotten from Chicago, how can we parlay this into hopefully making some money and being able to use the skills we have to create something great.
Yeah.
And I mean, truly to be where we are now, it's taken almost 20 years.
Right.
And we've had years where we don't work at all, don't make any money, you know.
It's a little less than that, but yeah.
It's a little less than 20. I age us.
She always
I lead
does
with my
that.
sex and I'm like, you guys, someone was
always
like,
does that.
oh, how old are
But
you
yeah.
guys? I'm like, well, she's 80. I'm 95.
Yeah.
But
I like to age us.
But yeah, to your Alex's point, yeah. So it was
internally old. Yeah.
I was born 100,
Yeah.
so I'm constantly like,
And I'm always
how
like-
old am I? I'm 100. I'm tired.
I'm free. I mean,
I gotta go to bed. I'm so hungry. I broke my toe.
Yeah.
So, sorry, you were going to say something, Rach.
no, I just yes, exactly that. So we got this web series in it was the LA Independent Television Festival, which was in LA that doesn't exist here anymore. And like from that, there were like panels and there were like speakers and there were people that you could meet. And that I think was the time that we were like, oh, this is like a thing. And we were sitting at a panel.
Oh, this is my favorite. Sometimes Rachel, and this is why we love her, she gets jazzed. She
I
gets
do.
fully jazzed.
Very jazzed.
And she'll say things that are sound bites for the rest of your life. For example, we're watching this panel and there were different people talking about like their TV shows and all these things.
And how to get this.
How to get this.
Yes.
You know, it's very inspiring, you know, to see people that are doing the thing you hope and wish to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so Rachel just turns to me in the middle of the panel, so serious, and just goes, "We're gonna get this." And I was like, great.
I was being very serious. She started laughing.
I started laughing,
but
she kind of growled at me, as if I didn't want us to get this.
Right.
I had like an epiphany at that
Shut
panel.
up, Alex.
I know you don't want us to get this, but we're gonna get
Stop
this.
your naysaying.
I just was like, I had a light
She had
bulb
a
where I was
moment.
like,
She had a
this is,
moment.
we're going to do this.
And that's when you said we're gonna get this, did you meant we're gonna be one of those people one day,
meant
or was
we're-
there like a prize or something to get? What was this?
This.
This what you're sitting in right now? Your
Oh
life.
my God, now I'm
Yes.
going to start crying.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but like, truly I knew, she knew what I was talking about.
I knew what she was talking about.
I knew what I was talking. I was like, we're going to do,
We're gonna
get this.
you and I will do this.
We're going to get this
yeah.
career. This career is for us.
Yeah,
Like, we're gonna do this.
I'm crying.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I wasn't expecting it.
I mean, like the first step to manifesting is deciding what it is
yes.
that you are going for.
Yes, and I think for both of us too, moving here, we more wanted to be performers at first, and we were doing commercials and performing, and then it was sort of like, oh, you know, because I didn't know that being a showrunner. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know that like writing for TV, creating shows was it. I didn't know it as well as I knew performing. Like I grew up watching SNL. I grew up watching Mel Brooks.
We don't have access to seeing the inside of writers' rooms.
Yes, that's
unless
right.
it's portrayed on like the Larry Sanders Show or something. But or then later like 30 Rock. But we really don't have a vision of what that looks like or what the path is or
You're
who
so right.
populates it.
I mean, we didn't come from the industry. So like, I'm the same. Like, I didn't know, I just knew Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And like, I knew people who were in funny movies that I loved, but I didn't know that there was like, oh yes, the people that create the shows, that write them. And like, it wasn't until sort of more like the Tina Feys and Mindy Kaling's where you started to see, oh, that's how that sort of path went.
Yeah, and LA does that for people.
Yes.
It is one of the benefits of being in LA is you're in the cauldron of all the creative pursuits that collaborate to make television.
Yes.
So it's like you suddenly meet people and learn like what art department does.
Yes.
And there's like just a million avenues into the creative center of what we do that I didn't know existed before I got here.
100%. And then when you learn, you're like, oh my God, there's a whole world of other ways to be creative.
Yeah. There's a fucking Willy Wonka factory happening, and it's not just the candy bars.
Yes.
It's like everything,
100%.
you know. You can eat the flowers. Yeah.
So we did when Rachel yelled at me, we're going to get this. And but I knew, I was like, she's right. We're going to get this. And then after that panel, somebody from, I think Fremantle was on the panel, and we thought she was so cool. And we just walked up to her and we're like, we have ideas for shows. Like, we truly were like, we have ideas for shows. And we were like pitching her. Like,
she just seemed, we both zeroed in on her.
We were like, she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool. She seemed like a little quirky, and we're like, she seems like she'd like us. And we sort of accosted her. We had a DVD of our web series.
We gave
it to her. And we were like, we
forgot this story.
And you reached into your purse and pulled out a DVD player.
Yeah.
We're like, you plugged it in, and you're like, we're going to watch this now.
Yes, I made us do a few DVDs with like our like name on them.
Yep.
And she was cool, and she like called us into her office and had a general, and then we pitched.
That's very nice.
We pitched her cool. Like, she was like, do you guys have ideas? At the time they were making a few web series that then they would hopefully pitch to like networks, and they had one show. It's like something Girlfriend. It had been on Comedy Central.
This was like during that Wild West.
Yes,
like
100%.
Early YouTube, early everything wanted a podcast or a web series network. Sony had like Crackle.
That's right.
And
yes, and Fremantle
Go
had
90 and
Atomic Wedgie. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
So basically we sold, I say that, it is true. We sold a web series to Fremantle, and that was our first real thing. And
How exciting.
I'm using the quotes. I shouldn't, because it was a real thing. It was a very low number.
Sure. But you got a check for an idea that you brought into the world.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
And we got a lawyer. And we got a lawyer who's still our lawyer to this day.
Really?
As like someone helped us as a favor, because even though it was a web series, it was attached to a possible TV series, and it was like and that's all I always tell people: if you get a contract, you have to have a lawyer look at it.
Yeah, this is helpful advice for our listeners. Like anyone out there who's like wanting to make this step or who is there already. Like so it's the contract, like that was the determining factor. Pre-contract, it's like, why do you need a lawyer? But contract, we need a lawyer.
And I also again, like, kudos to our lawyer, who's still our lawyer,
who at the time was like helping us as a favor to a favor of someone that we knew that would help us.
Which is also something
you can say, mafia.
Yes,
you can say that on this pod.
Which is something I do so love about LA is managers, agents, lawyers. When you come here, they are taking a chance on you. And when you build these relationships, like, we didn't make him any money.
Right.
But I love when people take a chance, and like somebody like him, again, we didn't make him any money, but now he's still our lawyer.
It's an investment on his part, because if he does a good job and builds a rapport and a good relationship, then down the line, when you do make tons of money and you're paying him 5%, he's doing great.
Yeah. And I actually think about that a lot, where I'm like, anybody who is representing anybody is taking a chance, and it is a long game. Not all the time. Sometimes things happen immediately, but then the job that we have, this thing we all do, it is this forever.
Yeah.
And they are by your side, and it is like, I love those relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it is, they're with you through thick and thin if that relationship ends up working out.
Yeah. Right.
So we shot the web series, and again, this is where I think our improv and sketch was so helpful, is we kind of did it ourselves, and we wrote it, and we had other improvisers in it, and
there was like minimal pay, but it was about a craft store, and we found a craft store. We we had money, but it wasn't like a ton of money, so we also had to be very, very creative.
And I think with improv and sketch, you kind of learn, especially at Second City, and the annoyance is, if you want to put up a show, you write it yourself. And sometimes you do it yourself, depending on where the theater is. And so I think we both had the skill set of like, if we want to do something, we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out, how are we going to make this work? And it's something I'm so grateful for in the training you get in Chicago, is like, you want to do a show? go write it.
I always say that like my best training I went to theater school, or I was a theater major in college, and like didn't get cast in anything for my first 2.5 years, but that was the best gift that college gave me, because during that time then I was like writing my own plays and putting them up and figuring out how to produce and how to like and learning like that it is so attainable. You just find a space and put it up.
And just put it up.
Make a poster. Choose a date.
That's right. Like our first web series, John Eddie web series, we like had an apartment and we wanted like very quirky wallpaper. And I went to Commerce and got like wrapping paper, but like industrial, like for people wrapping so many like department store wrapping paper. And we just covered Alex's walls in this like crazy wrapping paper.
That to me exemplifies a skill that improv gives as well, which is at UCB we call it if this then what. So like fleshing out a character, like what is their, if this character is quirky in this way, then what does their store look like? What does their wallpaper look like? What does their t-shirt say? If this then what. I've seen you guys both be amazing at that on set. We're gonna skip around a little bit because I want to talk about Electric Bloom.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So do I.
This is how I know you. You are the showrunners and co-creators of this amazing Disney show, Electric Bloom, and I got to work on set as the dialogue coach. But I've watched you two sit on set. You have your headphones on. You're at Video Village. You're watching a take, and all of a sudden, like someone from props runs over and goes like, "Which penguin?" and holds up like 2 stuffed animals. And Alex, you're like, that one's funnier, know, and it's like, and then someone else comes over with like a wrapping paper book and is like, what do you want for the inside of the cupboards? And Rachel's like, the gold, and then the outside this, and that. You guys are making 5,000 decisions a day based on who these characters are and being true to like what their thing is. They each have very strong character games, and also what's gonna play the best on film, what's gonna be funny. How fun is that to like use your comedy brain to be like which teddy bear is funnier, which bike handlebar is the funniest, like
it is. Thank you for all the nice things you said, Suzi. We're so thrilled to have you on our show. It's a dream. I think again with the improv of it all, we always start anything we write, we start with the characters and we write from character. And because I think the best improv shows you see are the people, their sketch shows are these characters, and we, especially on this show, we developed it for a long time. So at this point, we do know
the character.
We know them so well that it is like, no, she would never have that penguin. She would. We know what penguin she would pick at the FAO Schwartz. We know, and it's not even a thought. It's like I know that if I have 50 notebooks in front of me and I have to pick one out for each character, it's so easy because I'm like, I know exactly what she would pick.
How does that process start? How do you develop the characters from scratch? Do you start with like broad strokes and you go like, okay, this one's responsible, this one's rebellious, and this one's homeschooled and a goofball?
Yeah.
And then you like get more and more specific, or what? Or is it a slower, weirder process than that?
Well, like for ours, we knew we were creating a girl band show. Specifically for Disney. And like we also have another co-creator, Eric Friedman, and there were 3 of us, and it kind of made sense. A girl group. There's lots of girl groups who are 3. So we kind of start there, and like our story and our sort of initial premise was that they would be very different, but that this band and their friendship would bring them together. So then you have to create 3 different characters.
Yeah, how do you choose those tent poles? And how do they come into view?
Like part of it is, I mean, you are influenced by what you've seen. There are archetypes. So you can start with the 3 archetypes that we have. If you were to say break them down, it's like sort of the leader, put together, perfectionist kind of one. And then there's the sort of more artistic, edgy, rebellious. Like these are archetypes you've seen, and then there's always like a quirky one. But then you need to go way deeper than that. Like also you want to bring your own lived experiences.
How do you do that?
Oh God, these questions.
I think it's also yes to what Rachel's saying. It is also what's going to give us the best stories. What types of people are I think in each of these characters, there's very much a lot of us in each of them. And I think it's also how do they react to each other. So when we're pitching even any show, we will do the character descriptions, but then we will always have a part where we say how Tulip reacts to Posey. If Posey says this, Tulip's going to do this and Jade's going to do this. And when we're doing that, that's so helpful to us because we start to learn how do they work as friends? And then once you're writing and, again, we developed the show for a while, but it was such a gift because by the time we were shooting, we're like, oh, we know we can put them anywhere. We know them so well. And then as you're writing, you learn who they are even more. And then once they're cast,
then it's a whole other thing.
It's a whole other.
In a great way. In a great way.
In the best way. Because they bring stuff and you're like, oh.
And now you can see them. You're not having to do the heavy lifting of drawing it in your brain.
And our girls are so incredible.
They're incredible.
You watch them and now we're writing to them because of things we've
and you just
learned about them.
You also hear them and you see them.
Yes.
But a lot of it is lived experience that you bring, also lived experience that you've seen, also and then also lived experience of interactions that you've had because Alex is saying the part of the pitch that we always have is how does this character feel about that character?
Right.
It's not just the characters. It's always she secretly, this is not our show, but this character secretly, we're doing this podcast, but I secretly despise you. It's I don't openly despise you.
Say hypothetically, I'm just trying to think of a random thing. Let's say I despise you, Suzi.
So nice.
I'm using it because
despise.
It would be I'd be acting a very different way. You'd be asking questions. Oh, well, it's interesting you would ask that, Suzi.
Right.
Versus, or if I secretly, this isn't I secretly adore you. Where it's oh my gosh, thank you for asking me that, Suzi. You saw that in me? That's what's really interesting. Besides the character, it's how the character, which is very much improv.
Yeah, totally.
And or sketch. It's how do you come on stage? And a lot of the times I remember that from improv, it would be oh, I'm just here. I'm going to just, you make a choice. My choice is I don't despise you, but I secretly despise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
what's my strong thing that I can have burning in my own furnace that kind of drives and motivates me through the scene and gives me a little comedic sizzle while we play.
Yeah.
So I'm not just saying neutral lines and I'm not just bringing you the tea.
Yes.
I'm bringing you the tea.
Exactly.
How much of that changed and evolved? Is there some amount of, while you're developing these characters, some amount of trying on these different personalities and then taking them off, that doesn't really fit, or trying on their relationship reactions and being that doesn't give a lot of wiggle room?
I think when you're writing any script, you will see when we're in the writer's room and we're going through stuff, sometimes you'll write a whole draft of a script and be this isn't working. And then
so
you
frustrating
start,
to me.
It's so, and then you start rewriting page one. But
again, it's improv. It's oh, I tried this. It didn't work. Let's try something else.
Let's try something else.
Yeah.
And side note, I think having improv backgrounds is so wonderful in a writer's room because you're not precious with your words. It's oh, you didn't like this? How about this? How about this? How about this? And we also know how people talk because we've performed. So when we're writing, sometimes I'll be it doesn't sound like that.
Feels weird coming out of a mouth.
Yes.
You guys, I have bad news. I just went out on the sidewalk and I put your line in someone's mouth and it looked weird.
That looked really
so
weird.
I had him spit it out.
Truly. It's
And
also I think too, and this is what the development, when you pitch a show and they're buying into the idea of, but they're mostly buying into you, that you can execute this and your style and your thing, because they know that they're going to go to battle with you, meaning you're going to go through this phase of development. You're going to have to take notes that are, based on what they're looking for, based on what their series needs. And you're going to have to completely manipulate and move. And so it's always asking, I think the best notes from an executive or from each other is go deeper. Like, why? She's just not just a perfectionist because she's a perfectionist. She's a perfectionist because like she wants everyone to like her. Well, why does she want everyone to like her? Because she has a certain persona that she wants to, or like there's like all these levels. Like why, and like
I love that. Yeah, what a great writing exercise too. Just to like sit down with a notebook and be like, why, like, and keep like layering down. Yeah.
And I think on this show too, because we obviously are so close to it and we love it so much, we will be in the writer's room, and there have been times where I'm like, Julep would never say that. You know how each of them would speak, how each of them would react, and you care about them so much as characters, and it's a very like impassioned process. And to something you were saying earlier, I think specifically with this show, the three leads, they do have so much of each of Eric, Rachel, and I in them. And so I also think we each get passionate about that as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, this specific quirk in them is coming from my soul, or, whatever it is, or this story is coming from a lived experience that we've had.
Right. This is, I'm drawing on something that actually happened to me, and therefore I know how this has to play out, whatever.
Yes. But you have to be malleable and know it's not you, it's television, and also, you have to maneuver a little bit.
Yeah.
Just that you also want to protect the characters at all costs. Like, you never want to do something where the audience would be like, why is that character making that choice?
Yeah.
Like
this speaks to improv as well. Like something I try to impart to my students is like, in life, we are all the heroes of our own story. We're never playing the villain. So like your character would never do something mean or bad or wrong on purpose.
Right.
Like it's always because you're trying your best.
100%.
And that's such an engine for comedy. We call these like don't push the button scenes. Like you never want a scene where it's like don't push that red button and the person just goes and like pushes it.
Yeah.
As a comedian, you're gonna have to push it at some point.
Yes.
Like but you have to figure out how to make your character do it in a way that's not just ignorant or bumbling or whatever. Yeah. So being sympathetic to your characters, finding the reason they would do something that they might explain later, like why they would defend why they did it.
Yes.
100%. Our characters, and you need conflict to have a successful show, I think, to have scenes. I mean, you have to have conflict, but we have a show that's about friendship. And like the girls are best friends and they are ride or dies for each other. But there's still also teenagers who are going to make mistakes. And it's like the reason that they, might accidentally, move in the wrong way for their band that would offend one of the other one. It's like because they always have the good intentions of like what why they're doing it.
It's the best part of any human, where it's like if someone's, first of all, we never want them to purposefully be mean to each other, because in life, if someone's mean to you, unless they're a psycho, it is usually that they are triggered, that their feelings are hurt, that they're scared. It is coming from a much deeper place. And so, we always say in the writer's room, like they would never be mean to each other. They can have misunderstandings or say something that hurt the other one's feelings, but there is a much deeper reason, much like in life. Why did that happen?
Right.
And let's talk about it and let's explore it, because that's a very human thing to have happen.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us. So it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.